The House will please come to order. All members take their seats. All guests, please clear the aisle.
Yep, I got it.
The House will please come to order. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All members record their presence by pressing the green button. All members present, please hit the green button. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 64 members present. There is a quorum. All rise for the invocation to be delivered by Chairman Craven from the fine town of North Kingstown, who will also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Chairman Craven, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Holy God, we ask this day to help those victims and their loved ones who are suffering unimaginably grief as a result of the school shooting in Nashville. We beg your help and prayer that some solution is found to stop these horrific, senseless tragedies. Amen. Amen. United States of America.
Thank you, Chairman. The next order of business is the approval of the journal. Is there any objection to the approval of the journal? Leader Chippendale, please.
Speaker, thank you very much. As you're aware, Speaker, I have repeatedly objected to the removal of Representative Quattrochi from his committee assignments, and he has formally requested a conduct committee hearing. But today I rise in objection to the journal because last Thursday, statements made from the rostrum and that were entered into the journal presented a select few facts from a very complicated issue. The remarks that were entered in were unnecessary, they were inflammatory, and I believe reputationally damaging to Representative Quattrochi. I don't believe they have a place in our House journal, and I respectfully request that those comments be stricken from the official record.
Thank you very much for that objection. I will, because there's been an objection to the journal, we're going to vote on it. So, clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in favor of the journal as written, please vote green. Any opposed to the journal, please vote red. All members, please vote. Okay. Representative Potters, he has a green button. Oh, Representative Vos, your button is not working. How do you want to be recorded, sir? Try it again one more time, please. Hit the button. There you go. Thank you. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 55 votes in the affirmative. The journal will be entered as presented. Thank you. Next docket item, please, is new business. Do we have any? I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me. I'm going too fast. It's because I want to get off the rostrum. I got a hoarse throat, as you all could hear. The next order of business is communication. The clerk does have communications. Please read and place on file, clerk.
March 28, 2023, communication from Speaker K. Joseph Shekarchi. I have nominated the following to the National Conference of State Legislatures 2023 Child Welfare Fellows Program. Representative Julie Casimiro, Representative Marianne Shallcross-Smith. I have nominated the following to the National Conference of State Legislatures 2023 Youth Homelessness Fellows Program. Representative Jennifer Boylan, Representative Megan Carter, and Representative Anthony DeSimone. Representative Teresa Ann Tanzi is unable to attend session today, Tuesday, March 28, 2022. Representative Joseph J. Solomon Jr. is unable to attend session today. Representative Scott Slater is unable to attend session today. Representative William O'Brien is unable to attend session today. Representative Kathleen Fogarty is unable to attend session today. Representative Lauren H. Carson is unable to attend session today. Representative Jacqueline Baginski is unable to attend session today. Representative Ramon Perez is unable to attend session today, Tuesday, March 28, 2023.
Thank you. Please place on file. Next order of business is new business. Chairman Casey with new business. Representative Messier with new business. Any other new business? Representative Spears with new business. Thank you. The next order of business is today's calendar. Clerk, please read the first item on today's calendar.
Item number 1, number 5506.
Chairwoman Donovan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 5506 by Deputy Whip Ackerman allows healthcare facilities to conduct research on patients relating to the informed consent in clinical trials. This is a good bill, and I move passage.
Chairwoman Donovan moves passage, seconded by
Thank you.
Leader Blazajewski. Chairman McNamara, Chairman Bennett, Deputy Whip Ackerman, and Whip Kazarian, as well as Representative Bia, all seconding. On the bill, Leader Chippendale, please, on the bill.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I have a question regarding it's ultimately the impetus of the bill. I'm going to ask it first so that the best person can hopefully answer my concern. When we see a piece of legislation with typically a one or two word change, it jumps to my attention, certainly. And when we're changing a word, an and, an or, a shall, a may, that especially will grab my attention. In this case, we're going from a two-threshold arrangement where not just the state statutes, but also the federal, the CFR that's referenced, would also apply. Now it's an or. So that means one or the other shall apply. The CFR, to read that, has so many exceptions to it. It's unclear what we're trying to achieve here. I just need a little bit of clarity on that.
Okay. So the main proponent of this was Brown University, who testified that Rhode Island is falling behind other states in cancer research, and this bill would allow Rhode Island to align with the other states. It says here, consent is required in most cases. This bill provides that certain research that poses minimal risk would be allowed to proceed under a waiver of consent approved by the Institutional Review Board. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, there are no other lights. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in the affirmative, please hit the green button. Any in the negative, please hit the red button. All members, please vote. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 61 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act prevails. Next docketed item, please.
Item number 2, number 5555.
Lucky number 5, Chairwoman Donovan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 5555 by Representative Tanzi is an act that would allow pharmacists to prescribe tobacco cessation drug therapies. This is a great bill, and I move passage.
Chairwoman Donovan moves passage, seconded by many seconds, so my throat is killing me. I'm going to have everybody open up the green light to second. Anybody who wants to second, please hit the green light. Green button to second. Thank you. There are 37 seconds. Please lock the machine. The bill's been moved and seconded, and please proceed on the bill. Chairwoman Donovan.
Yes, I move passage of this bill.
We have. It's been moved in passage. Any debate on the bill? Representative Lima on the bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I have a question of the floor manager, if she'll yield.
Yes.
Hi, Chairwoman. Did anybody testify against this legislation?
There was one in opposition. The Rhode Island Department of Health is in favor, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Rhode Island Pharmacists Association, American Lung Association, and Buddha. They're all in favor of this bill.
No, my question was,
Oh.
was there anybody against it?
It says one, and let me see. I don't know who that is.
I was looking for it. Were the doctors against it? Anyone from the excuse me? Medical Society or the providers opposed to this legislation?
I don't have that information in front of me. Where's my,
So you don't know if anyone was against it?
no. It's, well, oh, thank you. It's, they're for it. Oh, there was no opposition. I'm sorry. I read this. I
No
read the-
opposition?
No.
Thank you. I mean, we all want people to quit smoking. I just have a little bit of concern that we're opening a door here where, for example, Chantix is an anti-smoking cessation drug, and there have been so many problems with the dangers of Chantix, the side effects that it has caused with depression, heart attacks. You can sit down. Etc. And I'm wondering how much information the pharmacist is going to have on that in order to prescribe this. I know in 5 days they're going to consult with the physician, but I'm concerned that we're opening a door here for a pharmacist to prescribe something that could be potentially seriously dangerous. So I want to feel comfortable with that before I vote for this, because I like the idea of smoking cessation. I think that's a great thing. And I know that my pharmacy, they're not open on weekends. They go to lunch from 1 to 2 to try to get a prescription. It's like unreal. So we're putting this load on them. So how can I feel comfortable with this legislation? And one other thing, if you're going to get up and answer me, thank you, Chairman, is all across the country you can see where pharmacists have been sued. There have been settlements because they have pushed drugs because they were getting kickbacks from certain pharmaceutical companies. And I don't see that being addressed in the legislation.
Well, the Pharmacy Association was in favor of this,
No, I'm sure they
bill,
were.
yeah. So if they feel that they weren't trained enough, they wouldn't have agreed with it. So,
Okay. All right, I'll listen to the debate. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Morgan, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I just have a question from, I guess, the chairman. And that is,
oh, okay. Thank you. What did you? Oh, sure, yeah. Yes,
is this
Representative.
covered by all of our insurance companies, our insurance policies?
They are not listed in favor of this.
Okay, so it is covered by them or it isn't? Do we know?
It's, what? Oh, it would vary from policy to policy. I'm reading the notes here.
Okay. And if they miss some lung issues or some issues from a person smoking, they're not diagnosticians, you know what I'm saying? They can't diagnose or they can't see that somebody might have the beginnings of lung cancer, for instance. How, in this scheme of things, does that patient or that person looking to stop smoking get care for the underlying maladies that they may have?
Well, if you want to stop smoking and you take a drug, if you have symptoms, you should go to your primary care physician.
So it's on the patient to go
Yes.
to his doctor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Representative Handy, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I haven't spoken very many times, I don't think, this year, but I rise in strong support of this, and I do want to recognize that we've had physicians testifying in support of this, pharmacists testifying in support of it, and it's a relatively narrow notion here, and in terms of opening a door, I think it's pushing a door that's already open, more open, for the better. While I think I go to the same pharmacy that Rep. Lima does, because mine also is closed during that same lunchtime hour, but it still has significantly wider hours than my doctor would, and it's significantly easier for me to go to the pharmacy. What I learned when I worked at places like the Lung Association, the Cancer Society, was you want to be able to be there right at that moment when somebody's ready to quit smoking. You don't want to wait. You don't have them wait to then go and pull the trigger. So this is, I think, a great option for people. I think it's going to significantly benefit them. And if somebody does have those symptoms, there is a referral in the process, and if for some reason they present some symptoms, I think, again, people would urge somebody to go to their doctor. But unfortunately, as we know, many folks don't have a primary care doctor, and this is, I think, another great option to help people quit smoking for good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We have a pharmacist, Representative McGaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And yeah, as the pharmacist in the room, I felt it was necessary for me to speak up in strong support of this bill. And I really want to thank Rep. Tanzi for bringing this to the floor. Just a reminder that at our URI College of Pharmacy is a doctorate program. So our pharmacists coming out of the University of Rhode Island and other pharmacy colleges across the country are doctors. So what we're asking, or what this bill proposes, is that doctors are given the opportunity to use the extensive clinical knowledge and experience that they have to provide clinical care to the patients that they see on a probably far more frequent basis than physicians do. On average, and I was listening to the testimony on my way in, actually. I wanted to just refresh my memory, but they were talking about in the hearing that on average, a patient may see a doctor up to 4 times a year. But on average, patients in the community will go into a pharmacy on average 35 times a year. So this is going to give patients an opportunity to see their pharmacy frequently, to get the support services that they need. These pharmacists are doctors. They do have the experience. The bill requires that pharmacists undergo specific training in smoking cessation so that they have the knowledge and the background that they need to do this. So I just wanted to remind everybody about the extensive training that pharmacists have and the relationships that they have with their patients. In regards to the kickback question, I will just remind the body that, kickbacks are illegal, and it doesn't matter if it's with a pharmacist or the doctor that would be prescribing. There are rules against that. There are laws against that. And so if a pharmacist or a physician were accepting kickbacks, certainly that would be something that would be worth investigating. I think Rep. Handy already answered the question about whether or not it would be covered. Certainly it's going to depend on the insurance. We know that there is a vast array of insurance opportunities out there, some of them better than others, and so it may or may not be covered, and that will be up to the patient as to what they selected in their coverage. A little bit about the process. I know that Rep. Morgan mentions about whether or not they would be seen by their physician. So these patients are going to be screened through the pharmacist. Again, there will be a screening tool that they will go through. They will ask very specific questions about the medication, about the patient's history, to try to suit the patient to the medication that is best for them. But they also are going to refer the patient back to the physician. So they can prescribe the drug, they can do follow-up with the patient, but information is always also going to be sent to the patient's physician so that the physician is kept in the loop and that they know that the patient is undergoing treatment for smoking cessation. And I also will remind the body that this is not a replacement for physician visits. This is a supplement to. So if a patient, say, had symptoms of lung cancer or even no symptoms, they're still going to be going to see their physician as they would regularly, because this is just supplementary to their routine care. I think that's all that I want. Oh, one other question that came up was about Chantix, for example, and that also was discussed in the hearing, and the Pharmacists Association really looked at that and talked about some of the studies that were available showing that the side effects, the behavioral side effects in anxiety, depression, for example, were no different in the studies than they were with, say, nicotine replacement products. And so a lot of that safety was reviewed in the testimony as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Fenton Fung, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rep. Lima, I have the same concerns when it comes to opening this door, like you said, about there's another bill that's infamously that I vote against every single year here in the chamber. But this one's actually a good one, okay? And sitting through the hearing, it's a very good start for pharmacists to be another frontline partner for us. It happened during COVID. It was a good thing. When you allow people to have what I think Rep. Handy said was perfect. When people are ready to quit, they can't wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to get into their primary care physician. That's how long it's taking to get somebody in right now. Urgent care facilities do not want you to come in and ask for Chantix. So I think this is a good thing. All pharmacists now, like other healthcare professions, like physical therapists, are entry-level doctorate. So they're not coming out with minimal training. They have multiple years of training. This is a very simple array of medications and treatments. You're trying to, I'm trying to be very kind. And I think this is a really good thing to be a partner with pharmacists and take some of the easy stuff off of primary care physicians' plates so that they can actually be treating some of the bigger stuff that we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Morgan, please, for the second time.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Whoever wants to answer it. Is vaping considered one of the smoking cessation therapies that they're allowed to recommend?
That's not a vape. That's not a smoking cessation therapy. They're using nicotine. Is that? I don't know what you mean.
Well,
vaping is
a lot of people use vaping
Yes.
to stop smoking. So you're saying no, vaping is not?
No, vaping. No, I don't believe.
So it's all prescription medication?
Yes. There's a lot, in this bill, if you read it, there's a lot of oversight in this bill. And for instance, the president of the Rhode Island Pharmacists Association, they cite 14 other states do this, and they find that pharmacists are well equipped to recommend change medications based on potential drug-on-drug or drug disease interactions to ensure patient safety. So every precaution has been made to ensure patient safety in this bill.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if vaping was one of those therapies. It isn't.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Casey, please, on the bill.
Yes, quickly, vape pens are over the counter. Anybody can buy those. That's not a prescription.
Thank you, Chairman. And with that, there are no other lights. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, please vote red. Clerk, please lock the machine. Representative Handy, would you please vote before you lock? Thank you. Representative Handy, please vote. It's locked. I'm sorry. I'll record you after the fact. We locked the machine. 64 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act prevails. Next docketed item, please.
Item number 3, number 5443.
Chairman Craven, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill comes to us from Representative Agello. It's an act related to domestic relations and solemnization of marriage. The act would require returns of a certificate or marriage certificate to be filed within 2 business days after the ceremony, and it would validate the common practice of filing the return by mail. It's a good bill. It uncomplicates a difficult time when you're trying to juggle a lot of things after you get married, and I move passage.
Thank you. Chairman Craven moves passage, seconded by Leader Blazajewski, Representative Knight, Representative Agello, Chairman Corvese, Representative Felix, Representative Shawcross-Smith, Representative Cortravian, all seconding the bill. On the bill, there are no lights. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, please vote red. All members, please vote. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 64 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act prevails. Next docketed item, please.
Item number 4, number 5378.
Chairman Casey, please.
Thank you, Speaker. This bill comes to us by Representative Casimiro. This is entitled an act to amend the homeroom charter of North Kingstown. It was voted and approved by the voters of North Kingstown on November 8th, 2022. I move passage. Thank you.
Chairman Casey moves passage, seconded by Leader Blazajewski, Representative Casimiro, Whip Kazarian, and Chairman Craven, all seconding. There are no lights. Clerk, please unlock the machine. Clerk, thank you. All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, please vote red. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 65 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act prevails. Next docketed item, please.
Item 5, number 5302.
Chairwoman Alzate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 5302 by Representative Tanzi is an act relating to solemnization of marriage that would allow the Honorable Leonela Felix to marry Kayla Rosen and Michael Zachary Mazzara in the city of Providence on or about May 20th, 2023. This is a great bill, and I move passage.
Chairwoman Alzate moves passage, seconded by Leader Blazajewski and many others. On the bill, Representative Felix, please, on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Out of an abundance of caution, I have to recuse myself from voting.
Please fill up the form and please send it up. Thank you. On the bill, Representative Lima, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a question of the floor manager. I don't know if she'll be able to answer this, but I thought we weren't doing any more solemnization of marriages on the floor. Did I miss something? Did we not pass that? Do you know?
I said, but here we are.
So
no.
we can do it either way, you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, there are no lights. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, please vote red. Clerk, please lock the machine. There's 63 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act prevails. That concludes today's calendar. We'll go to Chairman Azanaro, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I have 2 House resolutions for immediate consideration that have been approved by the majority and minority leader, and also a 7D for the next legislative day. If I may proceed with the 3, please.
Yes.
House resolution commemorating the Medal of Honor Day on March 25th in the state of Rhode Island. This was a celebration that happened this past Saturday, and in the state of Rhode Island, we have 35 people that have the Medal of Honor, so we are very blessed in that event. I would like this read at the rise and left on the desk for more signatures.
Please send it up. Thank you. Representative Giraldo, please.
Speaker?
Yep.
Speaker?
Oh, you have another one. I'm sorry. I forgot, Chairman Azanaro. Please.
I do.
Proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. I have another House resolution congratulating John Stellitano on being inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame and is celebrating the joyous occasion of his 100th birthday today. And I believe that he might be watching on TV. And I just have to say a few words about my coach and teacher from when I was in high school. This gentleman joined the Army Air Corps, and in I think he joined in 43, but in 45, He was on his last mission. He had flown 35 missions and had been hit 6 times out of the 35 missions. But this last mission, his wife went in labor in Westerly. He was only 21 years old. His wife was probably 20. And his plane got hit. And of the 4 engines that are on a B-17 bomber, 3 of them had to be shut down. They had to make a choice on this aircraft, and I believe on the B-17 there were probably 17 Army, Air Force people. They had to make a choice whether to stay with the plane where they couldn't see anything because of the weather, or jump. And had they jumped, they knew they would be behind enemy lines. Well, after they decided to stick with the plane, they limped back, and finally the weather broke. They saw an open field, belly landed this B-17 bomber, and all people were saved and were on friendly lines were in friendly lines, and no one had a scratch or a bump on them. So, Mr. Speaker, this gentleman, being 100 years old today, we had a big celebration for him on Saturday, a big birthday party, where at least 150, 200 people showed up to congratulate him on his 100th birthday, and to be the person that got that airplane down and saved the crew. So happy birthday, Coach. We all love you in Westerly. Thank you. Speaker, I also have a 7D that I had mentioned, if it's time to present this.
Please.
It is relating to accident and sickness insurance policies. I'll present this on the next legislative day. Thank you very much.
That was a wonderful story.
Thank you very much. Representative Giraldo, please.
Mr. Speaker, I have an announcement, an introduction, and a resolution for immediate consideration with the permission of the majority and minority leaders.
Please proceed on both.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery, right behind me, we are being visitors of the Central Falls High School Lady Warriors, our state champion girls basketball team. Yeah, thank you. Stand up, stand up. Not only is this an impressive feat on its own, but the Lady Warriors had one of the best seasons in Rhode Island girls basketball history, dominating the Division IV season, undefeated with a perfect record. I would like to introduce them to you, and please stand as I mention your names. And I know that we in Central Falls, just know that we in Central Falls and in all of Rhode Island are extremely proud of your accomplishments. Alexia Torres, Jumelia Thornton, Joanna Rodriguez, Pamela Galva, please stand, Camila Pizarro, Jada Argueta, Maribel Viega, Nechi Fernandez, Jada Simmons, Nathaya Andrade, Coach Nicholas Lafreniere, and Coach Manny Silva, as well as Manager Selena Martinez. Mr. Speaker, I have a resolution for consideration and would like it to be read at the rise. Congratulations and welcome to the State House.
Congratulations, girls. Chairwoman McEntee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution for immediate consideration. Thank you. And I have the permission of the majority leader and the minority leader. It's to celebrate URI Day at the Rhode Island State House today, March 28th, 2023. It was a great honor to have URI here today, my alma mater, as you all know. I am very much a proud Rhody Ram. They showcased their return on our investment today. I hope you all got a chance to see them. With their research, their workforce development, and their marvelous students. We saw President Palange here today, who gave a great speech, and he talked about all of the great things that URI is doing. We also had our coaches here from the athletics teams. We had Tammy Rice, who just came off a big win in many ways. And we're very proud of what she's done with our women's basketball team. Archie Miller was here from the men's basketball team, and Jim Fleming was here from the football team. We had many student athletes. We had the pharmacy department, the nursing department, the engineering department, the talent development department. We saw a lot of what URI has to offer, and I invite all of you to come down to Kingston and see it for yourself. But URI, what it does for our community and for this state, and the educational excellence and research that they provide as our Starship University, we just got to keep supporting them and watch Rhody grow. Because URI is an unbelievable place. You really need to see it. It's changed so much since I've been there. But I want us all to celebrate a big Rhody Day today. We have many Rhody grads. We have myself, Bob Craven, Justine Caldwell, I think Marvin Abney, right, Marvin? Yeah, there he is. Bob Phillips, and maybe more, I'm not sure. So thank you, and I'd like it to be read at the rise and left on the desk for signatures.
Thank you. Please send that up. Chairman Casey.
Thank you, Speaker. The meeting of the House Municipal Government Committee will be at the rise in the House Lounge. Please be prompt. We have a full calendar. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairwoman Alzate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an introduction.
Proceed.
Closing out Women's History Month, even though I will always celebrate Women's History Month every day, I want to highlight a young woman from District 60, Veronica Alexis Dawson. She's in the gallery. Veronica is a student athlete at St. Andrews. In December, she held a basketball clinic at Winters Elementary. And some of the girls that attended the clinic said that they were super excited, they had a fun, full day, and they can't wait for her to do this again. She did this in conjunction with some of our community members. Some people, I asked around about Veronica because I love that she did this. This was such a positive event for our girls in our city. Some of the people in her community from St. Andrews said that Veronica has been described as a person who cares about her community. Her parents have instilled in her a deep commitment and understanding of where she comes from and what it takes to get to where she is. She moves forward with her future, but brings her past with her. She's genuine and understands in a very personal level the inequities of life and will be a change maker one day. And we are certainly seeing that with Veronica and the clinic that she put together in the city of Pawtucket. She's accompanied by her community, Shelly Peterson, Maria Isarsa, I butchered that, I'm sorry, Drew Lagasse, and Lamel Moore. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community. Thank you, and I'm super excited to see what it is that you are going to do. So cheers to you, Veronica. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Representative Potter.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I have an announcement, please.
Proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, we have many, many members here with very unique backgrounds that have accomplished a lot of impressive things. But I think on Sunday night, we made history by having one of our own become a professional wrestling champion. So I had the great pleasure, along with Representative Giraldo and Representative Megan Cotter, of being able to go and see one of my dearest friends, Representative David Morales, win the Renegade Wrestling Alliance Hype Championship belt It was a really, really entertaining time. All of the performers put on really entertaining time. All of the performers put on a really, really just well-received performance, very entertaining. Everybody there had a great time. So I just wanted to stand and congratulate Representative Morales, not only the commissioner of the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, but now a bona fide professional wrestling champion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Morales, is that a conflict of interest that we have to look into? Representative Vos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to be recorded as present for today's session.
Without objection.
Thanks.
Representative Kislak.
Yes, thank you. I rise today to, I think it's an announcement that pursuant to Rule 7D, on the next legislative day, I will be introducing a bill relating to education.
Chairman Corvesi.
Announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Pursuant to Rule 7D, on the next legislative day, I'll be introducing legislation relating to insurance.
Deputy Whip Ackerman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
Pursuant to Rule 7D, on the next legislative day, I will be introducing a bill regarding residential landlord and tenants. Thank you.
Representative Felix.
Announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Sorry, listening. So as someone who has struggled with addiction, I know how important it is to have a supportive community to lean on during your recovery. So that's why today I really want to recognize my part of my community who are here today in support, came to talk to legislators. There are advocates, individuals, family members who are here to talk about their loved ones, the struggles for themselves and their loved ones, and talk to you all in terms of the need for the community and advocacy. I also want to take the time to thank and honor and recognize the hard work and dedication of 4 amazing advocates in our community who have been supporting the people struggling with addiction and who they themselves have personally been impacted by addiction. It is a difficult and often thankless task, but they have been working tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of those who are the most vulnerable in our community. And I hope that we can commit to support them in their ongoing efforts and struggle for making sure that our communities are supported. So if you don't mind, please stand when I call your name. And I'm going to just give a little bit of background on everyone, so if you can bear with me. So I would first like to recognize Kathy Schultz for her exceptional leadership as the director of the Governor's Overdose Task Force in the Executive Office of Health and Human Services. Kathy's personal journey of recovery has equipped her with a unique understanding of empathy for the struggles with substance use disorder. Her dedication and tireless effort to combat the opioid epidemic have made a significant impact on people's lives. Sorry, folks. And then, of course, I go breaking things. And tonight we recognize Kathy in loving memory of her best friend, Kathy Tippin, who passed away from an overdose. So thank you, Kathy, for the work that you do. Next, I would like to... Next, I would like to recognize Dennis Baylor for his exceptional work as a peer support specialist at Project Weber Renew and his contributions to the Harm Reduction Advisory Committee. Dennis, too, has had a personal journey of recovery and has so much compassion and empathy for those facing similar challenges. He is not only a passionate advocate for those struggling with substance use, but he is also a source of hope and inspiration for those in recovery. And tonight we recognize Dennis in the loving memory of Richard Smith. So thank you for your work. Next up, I would like to recognize Jessica Jones-Supley for her exceptional work as a certified peer recovery coach at Community Care Alliance in Woonsocket, and her unwavering commitment to supporting individuals struggling with substance use disorder. Jessica's resilience, strength, and compassion are a true inspiration to those around her. We recognize her for her outstanding work and dedication to support individuals impacted by addiction, and her unwavering commitment to make a positive difference in her community. She too personally understands the struggles with addiction and recovery because she's lived through it. And tonight we recognize Jessica in the loving memory of her sister, April. Last but certainly not least, there is someone who I truly admire and has become a very special friend to me that I want to recognize. I want to honor and recognize Haley McKee, who you all know. It's a surprise, she didn't know. I told her that they needed her support, so that's why she's there, but I lied. Sorry. For her exceptional work as the co-chair of the Substance Use Policy, Education, and Recovery Super PAC. You've all had interactions with Haley over the years and have seen her in full action, so you know of her unwavering dedication and leadership that have been instrumental in advancing policies and initiatives that prioritize the health and well-being of individuals impacted by substance use disorder. Haley's tireless advocacy for evidence-based solutions to address the opioid epidemic and other substance use issues has helped to drive meaningful change and progress in addiction prevention and treatment, which we've passed in this House. What's even more remarkable is that she is committed to centering the voices of the individuals and families impacted by substance use disorder, ensuring that their experience and perspective are reflected in policy decisions. Haley, I want to thank you for your outstanding leadership, for your commitment to the well-being of our community and the individuals that you serve, and the impact in our state. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for the good work that you're doing out in the community. Representative Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement?
Proceed.
I just wanted to echo Representative Felix's word and just underscore and thank the work of Project Vapor Renew, who has opened a drop-in center in my district, in my community in Pawtucket, and witnessed the hope that is brought to our community and the support, and recognize two individuals up in the gallery up there, Ashley Perry and Alexis Morales, who are on the ground. Their tireless work in our community it goes without notice. Like, we notice it every day, and we watch people come in without hope and leave with so much hope and potential. So I want to thank you so much for the work you're doing there in my community, in our community, and what you're doing there. So thank you so much again, Ashley Perry and Alexis Morales. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker Hull.
Announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
In accordance with House Rule 7D, on the next business day, I will be submitting legislation relating to criminal offenses and weapons.
Thank you. Representative Courtfried.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could we go back to new business, please?
New business. Do we have any new business? Back to announcements. Chairwoman Serpa.
Thank you, Speaker. A request for an adjournment, please.
Proceed.
This afternoon, could we please adjourn in the memory of retired West Warwick Fire Department Battalion Chief Frank Parenti, 93 years old. He comes from a long line of wonderful people in the town of West Warwick. Though he grew up at Representative Morgan's end of town, he and his family now live at my end of town. He loved his family, his children, his grandchildren, and his fire department. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Representative Henrys.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement.
Proceed.
Pursuant to Rule 7D, I would like to present on the next legislative day a bill pertaining to the Crown Act. Thank you.
Representative DeSimone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I just be recorded as present for today's session?
Without objection.
And be counted in the affirmative on item 1.
It will not change the outcome, so ordered. Representative Norrie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement.
Proceed.
I'd just like to remind the members of the House Education Committee, tomorrow we will have a committee at the Rise in room 101, several bills on the calendar, so please be on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Vella Wilkinson.
I have two announcements, Mr. Speaker, please.
Proceed.
The first is, in accordance with Rule 7D on the next legislative day, I'll be submitting legislation dealing with veterans programs. And the second is that 42 years ago today, I crossed the quarterdeck at King Hall at Navy Base Newport and met my beloved husband, Ken. So I just want to wish him a happy anniversary, 42 years.
We wish both of you 42 more. Congratulations. Leader Blazewski with a very important announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We'll be meeting in session tomorrow, Wednesday, March 29th at 4 p.m. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, here. And while we will not have session on Thursday, 3 committees will be meeting. There will be a sexual harassment prevention training session for House members tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the House Lounge. There will be a second training session offered next Thursday, April 6th, also at 3 p.m. in the House Lounge for those who can't make it tomorrow. Speaker Shekarchi and I strongly encourage all members to attend either tomorrow or next Thursday. And of course, we could not forget a special birthday today, Deputy Whip Mia Ackerman. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mia. We have a House resolution congratulating John Stellitano on being inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame and celebrating the joyous occasion of his 100th birthday. We have a House resolution commemorating the Medal of Honor Day on March the 25th, 2023 at in the state of Rhode Island. This is from Representative Azzanaro. From Representative Chairwoman McEntee, celebrating a House resolution celebrating URI Day at the Rhode Island State House today, March the 28th. And from Representative Giraldo, a House resolution congratulating the Central Falls Lady Warriors on winning the Rhode Island Division 4 Girls Basketball Championship. All in favor, say aye. Is there any objection to transmitting all matters on the House Clerk's desk to the Governor, the Honorable Senate, or the Secretary of the State forthwith? Hearing none, so ordered. Leader Blazewski moves that the House adjourn in memory of Chief Frank Parente, seconded by Leader Chippendale. All in favor, please stand for a moment of silence. The House is adjourned.
House resolution celebrating URI Day at the Rhode Island State House, March 28, 2023. Whereas Rhode Islanders are the fortunate recipients of the innovative and well-respected education provided by the University of Rhode Island. And whereas considered a major research university, URI offers undergraduate, graduate, and professional courses and degrees that prepare young people and adults to become active problem solvers who can adapt to new situations in our ever-changing world. And whereas comprised of 4 campuses and a diverse and vibrant student body representing 76 nations, URI offers more than 90 majors, including study abroad courses, and myriad summer and honors programs. And whereas faculty at the university are distinguished scholars and researchers whose excellence and commitment to their students is unsurpassed. And whereas founded in 1892, URI is consistently in the top half of the rankings for national universities. Now therefore be it resolved, this House of Representatives of the state of Rhode Island hereby celebrates URI Day and thanks the university and staff for significant contributions they provide to our state through research and programs that improve the lives of all Rhode Islanders. Be it further resolved, the Secretary of State be it hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mark B. Parlange, President of the University of Rhode Island. House resolution congratulating John Stellitano on being inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame and celebrating the joyous occasion of his 100th birthday. Whereas John Stellitano has led a long and glorious life filled with dedication, amazing achievements, adventure, and joy. And whereas born on March 28, 1923, at a time when radio had just begun to inform everyday people on the world around them, and women had finally been given the right to vote, both events that would change the political landscape of America, John Stellitano began what would become a remarkable journey. And whereas Mr. Stellitano was raised in the town of Westerly, graduating from Westerly High School, where he excelled in athletics, lettering, and football, where he earned all-state honors, as well as basketball and baseball, and most importantly, where he met the love of his life and future bride, Mary Capalbo. And whereas, with the hope of continuing his education, Mr. Stellitano attended the University of Rhode Island, majoring in aeronautical engineering and playing freshman football. A few months later, December 1941, on the ignoble Day of Infamy, when Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor was aired across the country, John, along with many young men across the country, enlisted in the Air Corps. And whereas since the age of 14, Mr. Stellitano had harbored an interest in flying and had often been given the opportunity to fly with a friend of the family who owned a seaplane. In May 1944, he finally reached one of his many goals in life and in the military by earning his wings. He was commissioned as a flight officer for 2 years of military training that encompassed instruction at 5 different states. And whereas, shortly thereafter, Mr. Stellitano returned home, and against the worries of their families and in the midst of war while actively serving, he married Mary, and the two traveled to Florida for his B-17 training. Upon completion of the grueling weeks of bombing and target navigation, John picked up his brand new plane and was stationed at Diofam Green Air Base in England, assigned to the 728th Bomb Squadron, 452 2nd Bomb Squad, and he and his crew immediately began combat missions. And whereas during his time flying missions, Mr. Stellitano and crew were hit 6 out of the 36 times they flew. And on one fateful run, they had to fly blind while losing altitude, landing precariously in an open field at 114 miles per hour. Miraculously, there were no injuries on board, and on the same day, his first child, Sharon, was born. And whereas in April 1945, after completing the required 36 missions, Mr. Stellitano was discharged and happily returned home to Mary and his daughter. He soon entered URI, attained his bachelor's degree in education, and took employment as a teacher and coach at Lockwood High School in Warwick. And whereas in 1949, Mr. Stellitano returned to his hometown of Westerly, where he continued teaching and became a local legend in coaching both football and basketball, earning him and his teams many awards, and the honor of April 30th, 1965, being named John Stellitano Day in Westerly. And whereas throughout his decorated military career and renowned teaching and coaching successes, John Stellitano has constantly found his family as his most cherished and beloved accomplishment. He has been married to Mary for almost 79 years, and his beloved children, Sharon, Stephen, and Catherine, and their spouses, Robin, Catherine, and Michael, have blessed he and Mary with 7 beautiful grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. Now therefore be it resolved, this House of Representatives of the state of Rhode Island hereby congratulates John Stellatano on being inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame and celebrating the joyous occasion of his 100th birthday. And be it further resolved, the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mr. John Stellatano. House resolution commemorating Medal of Honor Day on March 25th, 2023 in the state of Rhode Island. And whereas the Medal of Honor is the highest and most prestigious military decoration in the United States, it is awarded by the President of the United States in the name of Congress to members of the armed forces who have distinguished themselves conspicuously by their gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of their lives above and beyond the call of duty. And whereas there are 3 distinct versions of the Medal of Honor, the United States Navy introduced its version in 1861, which is awarded to members of the United States Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. The United States Army introduced its version in 1862, and the United States Air Force introduced its version in 1965. Prior to 1965, members of the Air Force received the United States Army version of the Medal of Honor. And whereas Medal of Honor Day is a federal holiday that was established to honor the heroism and sacrifice of Medal of Honor recipients. It was created when President George H.W. Bush signed Public Law 101-564 on November 15, 1990. And whereas Rhode Island has the distinction of having 35 of its citizens receive the Medal of Honor, these heroic men were, from the Civil War, Lieutenant William B. Avery, Navy, Sergeant William J. Babcock, Army, Corporal James A. Barber, Army, Captain George M. Bliss, Army, Colonel Zenas R. Bliss, Army, Lieutenant John K. Buckland, Army, Sergeant James H. Burbank, Army, Corporal Benjamin H. Child, Army, Private John Corcoran, Army, Captain of the Top John Edwards, Navy, Private Charles D. Ennis, Army, Sergeant John H. Havron, Army, Coxswain Thomas Hayes, Navy, Corporal Samuel E. Lewis, Army, Private George E. McDonald, Army, Sergeant Archibald Mulbone, Army, Corporal Thomas Parker, Army, Private George W. Potter, Army, Seaman George E. Reed, Navy, Private Joseph Taylor, Army, Lieutenant Edward P. Toby, Army, Private James Welsh, Army. Medal of Honor recipients from the Indian Campaign, Sergeant John S. Lawton, Army, and Private Owen McGar, Army. Medal of Honor recipients from the interim period, Gunner's Mate, 3rd Class, Petty Officer John Davis, Navy. Boatswain's Mate, Matthew Gillick, Navy. Seaman Philip Moore, Navy, and Machinist Mate, Chief Petty Officer Michael Walsh, Navy. Medal of Honor recipient from the Mexican Campaign is Mexican Gunner's Mate, Chief Petty Officer George Bradley, Navy. Medal of Honor recipient from the World War I is Machinist Mate, Chief Petty Officer Francis Edward Ormsby, Jr., Navy. Medal of Honor recipient from the interim period between World Wars I and II is Gunner's Mate, Chief Petty Officer Thomas Eady, Navy. Medal of Honor recipients from World War II are Sergeant William G. Fournier, Army, Private George G. Peters, Army, and Lieutenant Robert T. Woe, Army. Medal of Honor recipient from the Korean War is Colonel David B. Champagne, United States Marine Corps. Now, therefore, be it resolved, this House of Representatives of the state of Rhode Island hereby commemorates Medal of Honor Day and all its heroic recipients on March 25th, 2023. Be it further resolved, the Secretary of State being hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to the Honorable Daniel McKee, Governor of the State of Rhode Island, Mr. Cassim Yarn, Director, Rhode Island Office of Veterans Affairs, and Major General Christopher Callahan, Rhode Island Adjutant General. House resolution congratulating Central Falls Lady Warriors on winning the Rhode Island Division IV Girls Basketball Championship. Whereas Central Falls girls basketball team compiled one of the greatest seasons in Rhode Island girls basketball history. The Lady Warriors dominated Division IV regular season, finishing divisional play undefeated with a perfect record of 14-0. And whereas the Lady Warriors entered the state tournament, seeded first, and after receiving a first-round bye, they played Providence Country Day in the semifinals at North Providence High School. Playing practically a perfect game and arguably their best game of the season, Central Falls thrashed PCD by the score of 60-19 to advance to the championship game. And whereas in the title game, Central Falls faced off against rival and second-place finisher Davies Career and Tech at the Rhode Island College Murray Center. It is often said that you find out if a great team has a championship heart when they face adversity, and the Central Falls squad faced it for the first time when they found themselves behind in the second half for the first time all season long. And whereas with their backs against the wall, the Lady Warriors showed their championship hearts as they stared down the pressure and went off on an 11-2 scoring run to lock up the title by a score of 46-35. And whereas winning a state championship in a team sport is a very difficult endeavor, one that can only be achieved if every team member gives their all and puts the team needs ahead of all personal goals. Rhode Island Central Falls girls basketball team had those important qualities in abundance as they were led all season by the outstanding play provided by Jumela Thornton, Joanna Rodriguez-Andrade, Nai Fernandez, Maribel Vega, Ariana Ruiz Lopez, Pamela Galva, Jada Palin Argueta, Lamia Williams, Alexia Torres, Natea Andrade, Melanie Call, Camila Pizarro Pinto, Raissa Cardoza de Graca, and Jada Simmons. The Central Falls Lady Warriors also benefited greatly all season from the superb coaching and leadership that was provided by head coach Nick Lafreniere and assistant coach Manny Silva. Now therefore be it resolved, this House of Representatives of the state of Rhode Island hereby heartily congratulates Central Falls girls basketball team on winning the Rhode Island Division IV Girls Championship. Be it further resolved, the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mr. Nick Lafreniere, head basketball coach, Central Falls Girls Basketball.